Richard.
And I'm Lolly Swain.
And you're listening to The Way It Is. Headlines tonight.
Vanessa Diet, Tesco's quiet.
Watch your ear, Tyson's here.
Nation's crime up, Labour's time up.
Pay sensation, ooh, matron.
Mo did blow, didn't say no.
The NHS has been promised a £12 billion cash injection by Tony Blair, but in the meantime, it's still on the critical list. On the line from Millbank is a top government spin doctor.
Hello?
Hello, are you a top spin doctor?
Oh, no, dear, I'm the cleaner.
Well, are there any spin doctors about?
No, dear, there's a bit of a shortage. I'm minding the phone.
I see, well, you'll do. Can we have your opinion on the crisis?
Oh, it's awful, dear, awful. Something's got to be done. Just think of those poor doctors.
Yes, indeed, and the nurses, presumably.
Nurses? Oh, I see now, lovey. I mean, the spin doctors, they're rushed off their feet. Some of those junior spin doctors are having to do 28-hour shifts just to cover all the PR emergencies coming in. You know, in some offices I clean, there aren't even enough desks to go round. People are having to spin in the corridors. One bloke had to go 90 miles just to get a fax.
Really?
Oh, yes. And the boss says unless they get some more money soon, they could be down to one pager per person.
Yes, what about Lord Winston?
No, I don't fancy his chances. The spin doctors say he's on the critical list.
He's not ill, is he?
No, he's on the list of people critical of government policy. They had to give him a right telling off. My old mum used to say, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all.
Yes, I think you've rather missed the point, Mrs. This is a radio debate about the NHS.
Are you Simon Bates?
What?
Will you play a record for my cousin Edie? She's laid up with a dicky waterworks. She's got it something chronic, I tell you, her downstairs.
Yes, thank you.
Have you got the Gumbay dance band?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, but not here. Mad old hag.
Exciting news this week of the launch of the world's first gay airline.
Ha! Aren't they all? Have you ever met a heterosexual air steward?
Don't be prejudiced, Richard.
Yes, on the line now to discuss this amazing breakthrough in equal opportunities is, God help us, Jeremy Spake.
Oh, hello, Richard.
Spake, you are that rotund, beardy, bespectacled irritant from that sorry excuse of an airport docu-soap, aren't you?
I can tell no lies, Richard. That is I.
So, Mr. Spake, what do you make of the world's first gay airline?
Oh, I can't wait, Lolly. Just think, cruising at 30,000 feet.
It's very clever, Spake. You mean all the employees and all the passengers are actually going to be...
Friends of Dorothy.
From the chief executive right down to the lowly baggage handlers?
Oh, if you've got the baggage, Richard.
Yes, all right. Keep the campery to a minimum, Spake. Surely this is just niche marketing gone mad.
Well, Richard, if you've got the niche, I've
Use
got...
what?
Saucer of milk, table 2. Well, I can tell you, Richard, it will be the height of comfort. It'll be dark lovely, like a mid-air Violet and Puce Casbah. Oh, yes, and it will cater for every need of the customers, Richard. There will be business class, club class, trade class, rough trade class, construction
Yes.
worker class, policeman class.
It sounds quite fun.
Sounds complete nonsense. I'd sooner fly an EasyJet.
Well, Richard, if you're easy, I've got the jet.
Go, Spake. William Hague has criticised the government for breaking its election promises, but would he do any better? With me now is Tory Shadow Promises spokesman Toby Stump. Mr. Stump, would William Hague keep his promises to the electorate?
Oh, absolutely. William will keep every promise he makes.
I see. So what will he promise to do?
Absolutely nothing. You see, if you elect William Hague Prime Minister, he promises to do exactly nothing.
Nothing.
Yes. It's a common sense revolution, Richard. If you promise to do nothing and then do precisely that, you can't be accused of breaking your promises. It's perfect.
Yes, Mr. Stump, this is actually ridiculous. You can't promise nothing. No one will vote for you.
All right, then. I promise to reform the NHS, cut crime, and make trains free.
Mr. Stump, you have your fingers crossed. That doesn't count.
No, I haven't. No.
Put your hands on the table and say it again.
I promise to reform the NHS, cut crime, and make trains free. Not.
He's run off. Mr. Stump, come back. News coming in that a man has failed to become a millionaire. Jackie Trent is outside.
Yes, Richard, throughout the land in pubs and cafes, people are talking about only one thing. A man, indeed, has not won £1 million.
This £1 million, was it not won on the national lottery?
No, Richard, many millionaires have in fact been created by the lottery, and not all of them were Camelot directors.
So is not winning £1 million becoming a trend, Jackie?
Officially, this has neither been confirmed or denied, but yes, Richard.
And the obligatory photograph with a minor celebrity or ageing soap star?
Pat from EastEnders is on hold.
More from Jackie later.
13 million of us buy them, another 2 million will start by the end of the year, and new ones are becoming available all the time. What are they? Speciality coffees.
There used to be two types of coffee, black and white, but these days flavours range from cafe latte to marzipan. Not bad. From Helsinki, where coffee flavours outnumber people by nearly 2 to 1, here's Matt Black.
There used to be two types of coffee, black and white, but these days flavours range from cafe latte to marzipan. Not bad. And here in Finland, coffee flavours outnumber people by nearly 2 to 1. This is Matt Black for The Way It Is Helsinki.
Thanks, Matt. Listening to that report, and on the line now is Paulie Heikkilä, who advises the Finnish government on beverages. Paulie, how do you account for the number of different coffees in Finland?
It's very cold in Finland.
Yes?
Much of the population spend their weekends naked under the midnight sun on the frozen shores of the Baltic, singing sea shanties and beating each other senseless with slimy bric-a-brac.
Yes, but what about the extraordinary number of coffee flavours, where Finland is leading the world in this type of drink?
It's very cold in Finland.
Yes, well, we've had about enough of that. Paulie Heikkilä there from Finland. To think Fraser is even screened in Finland. Mo Molam is a junkie.
Oh, come on, Richard, that's a bit harsh. Didn't you ever experiment with drugs as a teenager?
The only experiments I took part in as a teenager involved a Bunsen burner, safety spectacles and the guiding hand of Mr. Willis, the chemistry master.
Spot.
Oh, I see. I'm boring and nerdy, am I, just because I choose not to inject reefers as a lad?
I really don't think that Mo Molam is suspected of injecting reefers, Richard.
It's all the same in my book.
And what book's that, then? Richard's bumper annual of ill-informed crap?
No, that's out of print now. With me to discuss Mogate, as I've just chosen to call it, is Detective Constable Graham Lee of Scotland Yard's Task Force on Drugs, DC Lee. Will you be locking Ms. Molam up?
I really don't think so.
Why not? She's admitted to a crime.
It was a long time ago.
Oh, right. So if I told you I committed a murder when I was 17, you'd let me off, would you? Because it was a long time ago.
It really isn't the same thing. You see, our current drug strategy involves... You didn't really murder anyone, did you?
No, of course not.
Good. Well done. Yes, our current drug strategy involves trying to establish an honest dialogue about drug use so we can better tackle the problem in the real world. I think Mo Molam's comments have been very useful.
Really? You call yourself policeman? Letting opium addicts walk free and arsing around trying to establish dialogues? Why don't you do some proper police work?
Like what?
Like find my cat.
Your cat? Has Kissinger gone missing, Richard?
Yes, he has, Lolly. He hasn't been home for 3 days. I'm worried sick.
Oh.
Well, I'm afraid that recovering Richard's cat sits quite low down on the Met's priority list at the moment.
Yes, I'm sure it does. Probably just below arrest young black man for no reason and play snooker.
Right, I'm off.
This is really getting to you, isn't it, Richard?
Kissinger means a lot to me, Lolly. Every morning for years I've gone downstairs to the kitchen, seen this sad little face looking up at me, asking for food. After preparing Mother's breakfast, I always go and call Kissinger in. No more. He's gone. Every time I look at his worming tablets, I feel all funny inside.
Oh, there, Richard. I'm sure he'll turn up. Look, why don't you and I go to that little Korean restaurant near you later on?
Wait a minute. That place is only 5 minutes walk from my house. You don't think that...
No, Richard. They eat dogs.
Right.
But just don't order the chicken. Be on the safe side.
Now, back to a man who didn't win $1 million, Jackie Trent, who is still outside.
And ironically, it seems, Richard, that the man who didn't become a millionaire was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
A bitter irony indeed. Is he devastated?
As devastated as a man who's just won £500,000 can be, Richard.
One away from the big one. Still, you can phone a lot of friends for that, Jackie.
Yes, but apparently not anybody who could help him with the £1 million question, Richard.
And what was the question in question, Jackie?
Which county cricket side is based at Chester-le Street?
A day on and who gives a damn. Thanks, Jackie. With me is Frank Cash, author of the unauthorised biography of Chris Tarrant, I Am a Millionaire. Frank, what was the Tarrant route to fiscal success? Media savvy, persistent, saying large sums of money in an astonished tone of voice?
He's just a lucky bastard.
Thanks, Frank. Cricket now, and here's Monty Tightrope in South Africa.
England won a test match, England won a test match, la 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 la, la 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 la.
Fantastic news, Monty. Tell us more.
3 days lost to rain, contrived game, South Africa didn't care, England slithered to victory.
Conclusion?
We're still shit.
Thanks, Monty.
Now, we were all sorry when Vanessa Feltz's marriage broke up.
Probably sat on it.
But she's bounced back saying she's lost 4 stone and feels great.
Bounced being the operative word. So, what next for the fact-failed morning show Harridan? Here with this non-story is our showbiz correspondent, Gilly Lepper.
Yes, Vanessa's back. We've all missed her after her husband threw her out saying she was self-absorbed.
Like a corpulent sponge.
No, Richard. The point I'm making is that she felt the pressure of fame, and as sometimes happens, her marriage sadly broke down because of that pressure. But it's not all bad, because it's another example of a dumped partner who's managed to come back looking better than ever.
Yes, look, all of this is irrelevant. You're here against my wishes, I might add, to tell us Vanessa's next move, be it on a low loader or otherwise.
She's going back to the BBC. They'll create a gap in the schedules.
Be a bloody big gap. So, Mo Molam smoked dope at university. With us now is His Worship Alistair Dunbar, the Very Reverend Julius Pinkerton and Charlie Cuttridge, all of whom were undergraduates with Dr. Molam.
Good evening.
Hello.
All right.
Gentlemen, would you say that Dr. Molam was a heavy user of drugs at university?
Well, she did a lot of grass. Why do you think we called her Mo?
Short for Maureen?
Oh, yes, I didn't think of that. Sorry.
Very generous with it, too.
Supplied all 5 of us at Halstead Block at Durham till we left uni one by one.
So, in effect, you are saying 5 men went to Mo?
Went to Mo.
Mo Molam.
5 men.
4 men.
3 men.
2 men.
1 man.
And his dog.
Spot.
Went to see Mo Molam.
Did she inhale?
Oh, yes.
But she swallowed too.
Millennium Dome has this week been accused of using quotes out of context to put on its poster. The Dome joins me now in the human form of PR rubbish, Janet Spatchcock. Spatchcock, this is just another example of your claims for the Dome being frankly unbelievable, isn't it?
Unbelievable! That's great. Can I use that? Thanks.
Well, do you deny it? You're pushing the bounds of human credulity, aren't you?
Pushing the bounds! Marvellous. Keep going.
Very well. The Dome serves no purpose other than to symbolise the inverted priorities of a so-called Labour government which allows the NHS to crumble while spending a fortune on a vainglorious monument to its own overblown opinion of itself and the 1,000-year Reich, for which it clearly hopes itself to be laying the seed. Does it?
Glorious! That'll do. Thank you so much.
Vainglorious is one word. Go on, get out.
One word, go. Splendid.
You're really beginning to grate.
Great.
You can't use that. It's a different spelling.
We'll put your name on it.
Really? Well, all right, but only in the quality press. A small village in North Wales made history this week by persuading the World Wide Web to bend its rules on the length of internet names.
This was previously restricted to 28 letters, but this new web address goes way beyond that. Gwyn Wellin helped pull it off and is with me now.
Hello.
Gwyn, what's the new site called?
Glanfa, Penguin, Gogere, Windrub, Willanticilio, go, go, go.
Fascinating.
I haven't finished yet.
Oh, sorry.
.com.
And what does Land's End Pulley Thingy Go Derek Winner Druid Cillian actually mean in English?
Oh, it means St. Mary's Church in the hollow of the White Hazel near a rapid whirlpool and the Church of St. Cecilio of the cave of nubile girls with huge knockers. Of course, locally it's known as Llanfair PG.
Oh, well, that must be a great help to visitors shortening the long bit to PG. But if people want to log on to your website but don't know how to spell it, how can they find you?
Oh, well, we all like to help each other out on the Welsh Wide Web. So there are links to us, on richardburton.com, laurielee.com, And of course, shirleybassey.com, to name a few.
Oh, I see. Web pages about famous Welsh people.
No, they're named after famous Welsh people. They're all porn sites.
Yes, we'll leave it there, Mr. Welling.
You should see ivortheengine.com.
Greg Dyke has been told that he must sell his shares in Granada when he officially takes over the reins here at the BBC.
Yes, it's a strict breach of protocol for the BBC Director General to retain any interest in broadcasting whatsoever. Mike Tyson has been allowed into the country then, presumably to fill the criminal-shaped gap vacated by General Pinochet. But is all this hysteria really worth it for a fight that'll probably be over in less time than it takes to say ear-biting rapist? Our sports correspondent Jim Docking is at Tyson's Hotel. Can you hear me, Jim?
Certainly can, Richard. I've still got my ears.
I do the smart-ass comments. Thank you, Docking. You do the story.
Right, sorry. Well, the Tyson entourage have set up camp in this plush Mayfair suite, which they've turned into a makeshift gym. They've done a tremendous job because there's everything you would get in a normal gym. Punch bags, weights, and a muscle-bound dickhead who's just trying to show off.
Has Tyson taken over the entire hotel?
It's been specially adapted to cater for Tyson's every need. There's a boxing ring in reception, a multi-gym in the bar, and a beauty queen tied up in the bedroom.
And I bet for room service he's having, let me see, cauliflower ears, perhaps, ears of corn, knuckle of beef?
No, not even a knob of butter. Richard, he's on a very strict fitness regime.
When was the last time he was in the ring?
I think sex is off the menu really as well, Richard. Unless, of course, he gets into a violent drunken rage and assaults someone again.
Thanks, Jim.
I've got more.
No, you haven't. The RUC is not to be renamed the Northern Ireland Police Service in case people call it NIPS, which sounds a bit rude. I'm joined by Vernon Davis of the Association for the Production of Genuinely Memorable and Catchy Acronyms, or APNCA. Mr. Davis, what should this organisation call itself?
Well, the ex-RUC needs
Ex-RUC? What does the X stand for?
No, I meant the organisation that used to be called the RUC needs a both user-friendly name and an acronym.
What do you suggest?
The Quasi-Unified Initiative to End Northern Irish Criminal Enterprises.
Or?
Quite nice.
Quite nice.
Yes, imagine being arrested by the Quite Nice. It just wouldn't seem so bad, would it?
Vernon Davis, thank you.
Oh, please, call me VD.
Nope.
The BBC has a new head of weather forecasting, and for the first time, it's a woman. Helen Young, who at 30 is also the youngest person to hold the post, takes over from Bill Giles this week. Good for you, Helen.
Well, order me a cab to the palace. The Queen must be told at once. Will, I wonder, our great-great-great-great-grandchildren prise open the lids of our cryogenic life support units with their little fingers to ask us where we were when we heard the earth-shattering news that Helen Young had been promoted to Chief Cloud Sticker-on?
Actually, Richard, it is really controversial. Several older forecasters have been passed over. There have been rumours of fights at TV Centre.
Oh, well, that's different. Do carry on. Perhaps the Pulitzer Prize can still be out.
Thank you. Phil Wallop is on the line from the BBC's weather room, where apparently some sort of commotion has broken out. Phil?
Yeah, hello, Lolly, if you can hear me. I'm here in the forecaster's room, and the sleet really has hit the warm front, if you know what I mean.
So Helen Young's appointment hasn't gone down too well there?
Not at all well, Lolly. Some of the larger weathermen have got her cornered at one end of the room and are pelting her with old heavy rain stickers and sharp lightning streaks.
But is no one helping her, Phil? What about Michael Fish?
Far from it, Lolly. He is leading the balding lynch mob, taunting Ms. Young with a garish light blue sports jacket.
Ooh. Is she all right?
I'm afraid that even Helen Young, experienced as she is, cannot possibly weather this storm, Lolly. And it is a storm, albeit a cardboard and Velcro one.
Is it because she's a woman?
Yes. It appears that the macho world of weather guessing is not ready to be ruled over by a woman. And if the BBC does not reconsider her appointment, Michael Fish has threatened to start telling the wrong weather.
No change there then. Thanks, Phil. The moon is made of cheese, the land is of milk and honey, and now, according to Prince Charles, the dome is like a blancmange. On the line to discuss whether this is true is a blancmange expert. A school dinner lady. You, a school dinner lady. Is the dome like a blancmange?
Yes, you have to queue up for it, only to find that it's boring, unappealing, and no one likes it much.
I see, and presumably a Thameside penthouse would be like a small spotted dick.
In that it's bland and tasteless.
Nope, in that Jeffrey Archer's got one. Thank you, a dinner lady. Houston, we have a problem. I am, of course, referring to Whitney Houston's drug bust. That's not, as you might think, breasts made of cocaine, but 15 grams of marijuana allegedly found in her handbag. Dirk Mosley joins me now.
Hello, Richard. It's absolutely awful.
Indeed.
I mean, 15 grams is pathetic.
What?
Calls herself a rock star. If Keith Richards got caught with 15 grams of weed at an airport, he'd apologise saying he'd forgotten to pack the rest.
Mr. Mosley, aren't you somewhat missing the point?
I mean, how much do you think Hendrix was on when he wrote the immortal line, "Excuse me while I kiss the sky"? 15 grams, 15 kilos more like. Here, what's Houston going to write, eh? "Excuse me while I just finish off the dishes, I'll be with you in a sec."
Mr. Mosley, it rather sounds as though you're condoning drugs.
No, Richard, don't get me wrong. But pop stars have to take drugs. I mean, as long as pop idols take drugs and then end up killing themselves through overdoses, the kids might just stay off them.
And that's your logic, is it?
Well, look, Richard, I mean, if I go around to the kids saying, "Don't take drugs," I mean, they laugh at me, wouldn't they? But if Steps were all to die tragically choking on their own vomit and coughing up blood after a lethal cocktail of speedballs and smack, I mean, the message might just get through.
Shall pause for a moment to savour that image. Thank you, Mr. Mosley. And if there was ever an argument for the compassionate use of drugs, you've just made it. Bad news for the BBC as respected political journalist John Sargent defects to become the face of ITN.
Stay at home! Lock the door! Don't speak to anyone!
No, that's not our advice to Victoria Beckham. It's Britain, suffering from an unprecedented rise in crime. Muggings are up, burglaries up, and if I find whoever stole my old Wickhamist tie from the green room, there'll be trouble. With me to discuss what isn't so much a crime wave as a crime tsunami is government spokesman Cameron Plunge. So, Plunge, new Labour, new Britain, new reason to carry a gun.
Not at all, Richard. The streets are perfectly safe.
No, Plunge, they are not. Violent crime rose for the first time in 6 years.
Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said the streets were perfectly safe.
There were 115,000 more recorded crimes last year than there were the year before.
Not necessarily. It all depends how you count crime.
I like that system that goes from 1 to 10 by a 5.
According to our new regionally weighted, seasonally adjusted regression analysis, the number of crimes committed in Britain last year was 4.
Tell me, is that the same counting system that supposedly put 100,000 new police officers on the beat? Let's see, how did that one go? 1, 2, 3, 100,000?
This government is tough on crime, tough on the causes of crime.
Yes, but sloganeering apart, the fact is you've been in power for nearly 3 years. Crime levels are up, detection rates are down, the courts are gridlocked, the prisons are full, the police can't cope, there's no extra money, and the crims are having a field day.
Aren't nurses fab? We're giving them more money. And that dome. Talk about exciting. Hey, did you see the fireworks?
Go home, Plunge, and try not to get brutally murdered, won't you?
Time once again for our regular feature in which we talk to the editor of a magazine whose area of specialist interest has hit the news.
This week's Celebrity Mother interest magazine, Celebrity Mother. It's a magazine for the female parent of the famous. Editor Rabbi Rudy Steinberger joins us now.
Good evening.
Should I call you Rudy?
Call me Rudy, call me Rabbi, but whatever you call me, just call me.
I'm sorry?
It's a Celebrity Mother thing.
Rudy, who would read your magazine exactly?
Well, celebrity mothers, obviously. In particular, those who have perhaps lost touch or fallen out with their children and...
looking to cash in.
And they're looking to clear the air, yes. And then there are those who revel in the dysfunctional relationships of others. And, of course, the Pope, who gets it free with Pope magazine every week.
So, what are you featuring this week?
Well, there's What's My Number? Advice on tracking down ex-directory phone numbers. More disappointed than angry. How to handle the press. A think piece entitled Fame. Is it in the genes?
Is it?
No. Plus health. Why, yes, California would be good for your sciatica.
Now, this week, Robert Carlyle's mother has joined Jennifer Aniston's in going public to try and embarrass her estranged offspring into recognising her. Surely that's rather tasteless behaviour.
Well, Richard, not all mothers are lucky enough to have a famous son who lives with them well into middle age.
I do not live with my mother. She occupies an adjoining but entirely separate Granex.
A what?
Granex. It's a neologism I've coined. It's short for Granny Annex. Oxford are getting back to me on it. Anyway, that's not the point. Lolly, I imagine you still see your parents regularly?
So, Rabbi, what advice
Well, don't
would
you? I assume they'll be at the wedding.
Well, it's rather difficult, as a matter of fact.
Difficult? How can it be difficult?
There's so many of them.
What, so many mothers? What are you, Mormons?
No, I mean the whole family, brothers, sisters, you know, and it's a long way from there.
There? Where's there?
Capers, County Cork.
Well, you've certainly ironed out that accent with a steamroller, haven't you? So, don't they want to come?
I don't know. So anyway, Rudy...
Sorry?
I don't know. I haven't told them yet. I've been so busy, what with the planning and the church...
The sending out the invitations...
Sorry, do you still need me?
Oh, yes, indeed, Rabbi. Perhaps you could advise Lolly's mother, should she want to see her ingrate offspring enjoying her possibly brief moment of wedded bliss.
Richard!
Oh, well, certainly. Would she be willing to do Richard and Judy?
Look, I'll deal with Ma when the time is right. I'd really rather not go into this right now.
Thank you, Rabbi. You know I rather like these lifestyle features of yours, Lolly.
I think I need a drink.
This week, the Pope hosted a major gathering of different Christian religions. Lloyd Fisher was at the Vatican. Lloyd, what was it like seeing all those religious leaders in one place?
Scary.
Who did we send?
Carey.
How did he seem?
Wary.
What's he got in common with the
They
Pope?
both vary.
Anything else?
Virgin Mary.
Thanks, Lloyd.
Righto.
Jack Straw's decision to bend over and allow Mike Tyson entry has exercised the fury of every feminist worth her salt. Julie Bristol is no exception.
Once again this week, the so-called Home Secretary, him secretary more like, has welcomed a convicted rapist into our country, while decent, honest women can't even go into hospital without being persecuted. Where's the justice? Woman made it speech can't get an operation, but Mike Tyson swans around at the Grosvenor House Hotel just because he's rich. Since when did being rich entitle you to stay in big hotels? Iron Mike! I bet he's never used an iron in his life! Typical man! Mike Tyson! Mike toys up women and then has sex with them, more like bastard! Meanwhile, General Pinochet jumps the queue to get a medical examination, while poor elderly women dictators like Margaret Thatcher have to wait months to be declared insane! Bring it, stop! I'm Judy Bristol.
The front page of The Sun this week led with the shocking news that a customs and excise sniffer dog has been accused of racism. For more on that story, I don't know, ask a builder or something. I'm Richard.
And I'm Lolly Swain.
And that's the way it is.